You know, a lot of people have asked me and questioned and doubted why I bought a Chevy Camaro. And all I can answer them with is one of my favorite quotes that Steve Jobs gave at a Stanford commencement address. And it says, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by the dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary." Woo-hoo-hoo! Getting a little sideways.
Yo, Mark 9. They really don't think we can keep doing this. They don't think we can keep making hits about cameras. But I'm the cameraman. Ooh, stay creamy. Yeah, I started on a 50 mil lens. Now I'm about to bag 50 million. I can shoot all day, I got stamina. Turtleneck on with my camera, yeah. Stay creamy, man, that's what they say. Shoes laced up and I came to play. Yeah, I'm first team, I'm a superstar, they call me Queen.
What is going on, guys? It is Austin with Gone in 60. Thank you guys for jumping into the channel. I appreciate all the support. Today's topic that we're going to be talking about is why I bought a Chevy Camaro. There's so many of you that have said, Austin, get a Dodge, get a Ford, get this, get that. I'm going to share exactly why I got the Camaro. So maybe if you guys are in the same boat looking at different cars, you can understand what decision I went with, but also to explain to a lot of you guys the reasons I went with the Camaro. So guys, hit that like button, jump in, let's get it going. So as you guys look at some of the polls that I did on my channel back in the summer, I was considering a lot of different cars, and really what it came down to for me was either going back to a Challenger or trying out a Charger or going the Camaro route. I was kind of done with the Bullitt Mustang. I was just done with it, and I didn't want to go down that road again. So you guys can see, I know what you guys wanted. You guys wanted another Mopar on the channel, and for me, I came really close. I even called up a Dodge dealership, spec'd them out, priced them out, but I had to listen to my gut, and I wanted to tie into how we kicked off this video from that quote from Steve Jobs. And just to kind of paraphrase it, you know, it's one of my favorite quotes, and it's helped me out in business, it's helped me out in so many things in life, and it's this: don't let the opinions of other people drown out your own inner voice. And so I reached a point where I had to make a decision on what I wanted to do. I'll be transparent with you guys in that I bought the Bullitt Mustang thinking that it would help my YouTube channel blow up. It would just be amazing. You know, everybody would love the car. I didn't do any research on it. I mean, I did research on buying the car, but I didn't do research on like how well they're liked or how the market views them. That was a decision I purely made off of just YouTube. And I promised myself after going the route of the Bullitt Mustang that I'm never going to do anything again just for YouTube. You know, I appreciate my subscribers, I appreciate my viewers. I don't make much at doing this, and so for me, it's more about just making the kind of videos, the kind of content that I want. And if anybody doesn't watch them or do watch them, great. If they don't, no worries. I'm fine with that. And so for me, I had to kind of rewind back because I looked at all the polls, I looked at what everybody wanted, and it was pretty unanimous what people thought about. But I had to stick to my gut. I had to stick to that Steve Jobs quote and get something that I wanted. Now, I will touch on this briefly. I love Mopar, big Mopar fan, and the reason I didn't go that route is for a couple of reasons. I couldn't make the content around it that I wanted to, the videos that I wanted to shoot, because I feel the YouTube scene when it comes to Mopar is a little bit overdone. It's a lot of the same videos recycled that everybody does, and for me, I do this because I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about marketing. If I can't make the content that I want, that everybody else has kind of shot or rehashed 55,000 different ways, then I don't want to make it. And so for me, I just felt that YouTube scene on the Dodge Mopar content was just kind of overdone. And the second thing that I'll share with you guys when it comes to Mopar is I love Mopars, have so much respect for the Mopar community. However, I just feel Mopar hasn't done enough to excite me over the last how many ever years they've been coming out with these cars. You know, I like how the Charger drives in comparison to the Challenger, I like that it's a little bit longer wheelbase, but you know, I'm a manual guy, and that was a tough decision. So I considered a manual Hellcat, you know, non-wide body. I considered a Charger wide body Scat Pack. But for me, there's a lot of things that I feel Ford, Chevy has passed Dodge up on when it comes to technology in the cars. People buy Mopars because of the brand following. They buy it because of the Hemis, you know, the torque of them, the motors of them, and they look retro, especially the Challenger. They look retro. They look like they did, and Dodge has tapped into that market. Dodge is now outselling Ford. They're outselling them by quite a bit, and Camaro, they're not even in the running. And so another thing that I think is important for me to share with you guys is I also wanted a car that I just don't see driving around town all the time. With my Bullitt Mustang, it was unique, but it wasn't unique enough. People were just kind of like, what is that? Like, is that a Mustang? What is that? I see so many Mopars. I see so many Mustangs. I like the fact that with a Camaro, I don't see that many of them out there on the road, and especially the 1LE package. I have yet to see another 1LE here in the state of Utah. Granted, it's only been a month, give me some time, but I haven't seen another 1LE where I'm driving around here. I just haven't. I've seen other Camaros, but very few. But Chargers, Challengers, Mustangs, I see them everywhere. So for me, I like that I can create content that maybe not a lot of content is out there. I'll probably be, you know, doing some things that other YouTubers have done, but I can still make videos and bring to light topics that I don't think have been talked about in the Camaro community. And two, I have a car that's really unique. So another thing that was just really important to me in getting the Camaro is the looks of the car. In my opinion, this is the best looking car that I've owned between the Challenger, Mustang, and now the Camaro. And you know, I love the Challenger, I love the Mustang, I love the looks of each of them. But one of the things that the Mustang introduced me to was a little bit shorter of a car, a little bit more nimble of a car that can carve through the canyons, a car that can, you know, weave in and out of traffic a little bit easier. You can still do that in a Mopar, you know, but the Mustang, I did like the size of that better than my Challenger, especially when it came to parking. And so for me, this year, you're not getting deals on cars. In 2022, you're not getting deals on cars. So if you're spending all that money, if you're spending sticker price, you might as well buy something that you love to detail, that you love to look at it, that it just is your personality. And I feel I finally have found that car that I think really fits my personality and what I like. And I think from a design standpoint, and I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I love the looks of the Camaros. And I remember a seed that was planted months and months back with my daughter when she saw a blacked out Camaro, and she was like, Dad, that car looks sweet. And it's just always been in the back of my mind for months. You know, I debated so long as I was trying to order a Camaro and had so many challenges with it. Gosh, am I making the right decision? Am I doing the right thing? But ultimately, I ended up sticking to my gut. So this next point for me probably is the biggest in the deciding factor of getting the Camaro versus going back to some of the other brands. And I am a true manual enthusiast. I love manual transmissions. You know, I debated getting automatics. You know, I debated getting into the Charger and going the automatic route. I love manual transmissions. I grew up around my dad's 1970 GTO Judge. I grew up around muscle cars. You know, I grew up around manual transmissions. I know they're not the fastest, and the automatics, they're so amazing. However, the Mustang, I don't even want to talk about the manual transmission in that. I've talked about it at length with you guys. The MT82, it is no good. Now, I can't speak for the Shelby or the Mach 1 that has the Tremec, but that thing grinded all the time. I like the feel of the clutch. It was a little bit lighter. The Challenger had the Tremec as well. What I felt like is the Challenger, it was a little bit looser as you kind of went through the gears. It kind of wandered. Now, I think if you change out the shift assembly, you're in a great position. The Challenger reminded me, driving that from a manual standpoint, of some of my dad's muscle cars growing up, and that's what Dodge is going for. You know, the clutch was a little bit heavier. You know, I didn't like that to push down on the park brake with my foot down there. I like in the Camaro, I just have a little button I can push there. Just small things like that. But the Challenger's no slouch by any means, and someday I would love to get a Challenger shaker. So getting down to the Camaro and the manual, there's a lot of things that it offers. It offers auto rev match. I can't get that in a Challenger. It offers no lift shift, which is the only out of the three that can do it, where you can keep your foot in the gas. You don't have to let off in order to shift the gears. You just keep that planted in there, and you can keep just going through as fast as you want to go. And the Tremec in this and the shifting is so precise. It is forward, it is back, it is so clean on the shifts, and I love everything about that. And so for me, the manual in this car just is superior to all of them. And that was kind of the deciding factor for me, is I had such a bad experience with the Mustang and the manual transmission that I feel the Camaro is the best sorted manual transmission that you can buy out there when it comes to the Camaro, the Mustang, and the Challenger. And for me, that's a big deciding factor, is that. And another thing for me that was really important in factoring all of this is this car has a lot of the technology that I like, and I feel it's done such a good job compared to some of the other manufacturers. And, you know, things like heads-up display, you can't get that in the other cars, the Mustangs, the Challengers, the Chargers. I like that it has the interior lighting. You know, Dodge, you have to take a rope and basically force it into all of your door jambs to kind of get that interior lighting. I know it's dumb. I know most people buy these cars for the performance, for the motors, for the V8 sound. I get it. But for me, those are some things that I like. You know, I love the sorted transmission, as we've talked about. I like that it has digital and analog gauges. Can't get digital gauges in the Challenger or the Charger. They're just not. You know, I like that the door sills light up. You can't get that in a Challenger or a Charger, and I feel Mopar cheaped out on some of the stuff. I do. Sorry guys, you can hate me for it, but I just feel that they have. The Bose sound system in this is better than all the premium sound systems. I've heard them all, I've listened to them all, and they're just better. I like that I can get red seat belts in this. You can only get that in the Hellcat. So, and I know those are things that you can add on, that you can add to your car, but I just like, for the money, I was able to get as much as I possibly could. You know, what's interesting is the Challengers and Chargers have now outsold Mustang and Camaro, like I've talked about. But one of the things that's interesting, if you start to pair all of the technology that I get in the 1LE package in the Camaro, I'm at 53 grand. If I tried to sort out Charger that same way, I'm probably closer to 60 grand. It's just the Chargers are doing very well right now, and the Challengers have held their value very well. There's a large market for them, but I like that I can get all of those goodies in my car without having to continue to fork out more and more money. I have the MagnaRide, I have, you know, I have so many different things within this package that I love that about the car, that I have it, and it keeps the price down for me. Kind of my last and final point, you know, I wanted to get the car that I wanted, that I wanted for myself. And there's something interesting happening in the marketplace today. Ford just recently announced their 2022 Mustangs will have 10 less horsepower, 10 less pound-feet of torque. Now, that's nothing to sniff at. You probably won't even notice it. Maybe a cold air intake or an exhaust might pick that horsepower back up. But we're in an interesting time where these manufacturers are dumping all their R&D into electric. I've shared with you guys my thoughts on that and where it's going. I feel we have a few more swings at the plate. And what I mean by that is I feel there's a few more swings that you guys have out there of getting the cars that you want. Now, obviously, these cars will be used. You know, Camaro, they're done in a couple years. So I wanted to be able to own one, and I think it's cool that I've owned all three. I can give you the perspective across a Challenger, I can give you the perspective across the Mustang and now the Camaro. And so I knew that window was closing, and honestly, I just really like the car, and I am loving the car so far. You know, I think a ZL1 would be awesome to add to the channel at some point. I think maybe going back to Mopar someday could be really fun. But I think you guys have a few more chances at the plate to get some of these cars new. You know, Dodge is still continuing with their Charger and Challenger models, still offering the Hemi. But I think you're starting to see people's hands being forced in the industry. And I think Ford has admitted to that they had to reduce it due to emissions. And I think you're going to see a similar trend happen with a lot of the other cars moving into future years. So for me, I felt like I had a swing at the plate. I wanted to complete the trio. I wanted to complete owning all three and sharing my perspective with you guys. And it just so happens that I love the looks of the car. It's a manual driver's dream car, in my opinion, and I can give that perspective. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Those are some of the reasons why I bought my Camaro. And I don't regret it. I love that I have this car. I'm excited to bring content around it. Thank you guys for all the support on the channel. It just keeps getting faster. It blows up. I love seeing all the responses and the feedback from you guys. Thanks so much for all the support. I'm Austin. This is Gone in 60. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Do a quick little highway pull for you guys. Oh! That's fun. That is so fun.